Peace and love. What up, though? What it do? What's popping? What's cracking? What's happening? And then what up, though? All of that and all of that. Time 1,000 this time. Give me a minute. I'm running a little tardy, but it's about to go down.
YouTube, you fools try to limit me. Muting and deleting channels, thinking that's the end of me. Y'all are not on my level, smaller than a centipede. This is my purpose, TBT is a ministry. I do not tire, my God gives me energy. Chose by Messiah, you believe, come get with me. Married to a black queen, we got the illest chemistry. Founded the black tube, and now we making history. Black tube, 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 what? Black tube, 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 what? TBT, 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 what? TBT, 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 what? TheBlackTube.com. I'm a giant killer, son of an omniscient God who's realer. If this be the thriller in Manila, I'm Ali in his prime. It's showtime, go time, about to take what's mine. We are not with your agenda, we showing real life.
Yo, I'm no longer muted. And we are live and direct coming from the 313. I know many of the Moors is mad at me. We live and direct from the 313. I know a lot of the Moors is mad at me because y'all don't want black, the black tube, y'all. The black. You a Moor, you don't use the black. You habla inglés. See, you habla inglés. So, we utilize that term. We utilize the term black, right? Like my shirt, we know, we can get into the fact that it's an adjective and all of this and that and again, whatever. When you come up with an idea and you brand it, you can label it as you like, right? And this essentially is going to be a part of the message this evening, right? Again, I just said it. I know a lot of the Moors, when they see that Black Tube commercial, you got something to say when you ain't gonna come say it to me because you're not nowhere in my circumference, right? I don't be all up into people stuff, right? To, put it plainly. I don't be all up into people stuff, right? So again, I'm not the creator of the Black Tube, right? But I'm going to advertise for any melanated business that I support. And that is something that we support, right? We support it. Again, you can be butthole hurt about the word black all you like. I got over that about 16, 17 years ago. You understand? Now, you want to eliminate it from your lexicon. That's your choice, right? But again, you habla inglés. See? You habla inglés, so you're going to be saying that word. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's not possible to eliminate certain terms that you feel are like supposed to be descriptive or, and you don't feel it's that way. I overstand. Again, my shirt is black. I'm golden. Like I'm so golden, you can barely see my jewelry. Right? If we're going to talk about, complexion, and then we're going to get into phenotypes and things like this and that. We're not doing all that. You know what I'm saying? Because for sure, no matter if you are coming from the conviction of being, a Christian or Muslim or whatever it is, if I say, if you ask me, for example, I was I don't even know the name of that particular dollar store. I say the green one, right? I was in there earlier today and an elder was in there and they were talking about, the fact that someone bust the windows out and this is the second time that this has happened. This is in Detroit, right? This is in Southwest Detroit, to be specific. They've had a vandalism issue at this particular dollar store, right? So they were discussing the fact that due to the footage, they can see that the individual who was responsible for committing this crime, because that is a crime, he damaged someone's property. They, made it known that it was a pale person. Since we not, it's funny. Like I can say black, but a lot of times I won't say white. So again, if I wanted to eliminate a particular term out of my dialect, therefore I could. But we habla inglés. You speak in English. For those of you who no comprende when I say habla inglés, right? We speak in English, right? Right. But again, I'm speaking English, but shout out to Sister Abundance Child. Shout out to that Empress. She made a point over 14 years ago. Like, if me and you are conversing, it's just me and you, or me and her, or just a few of us, and we use the word black, there's not going to be some type of repercussions for using that term, right? When we're talking to one another. But if I am dealing with any of the agents of the alphabet gangs who are subsidiaries of the Fed, the state, the city, the county, especially within their administrative court, I'm not going to utilize the word black when I'm making reference to me, you, or anyone else who, you know what I'm saying, is melanated and sun kissed and God body, and you know what I'm saying? That's us. That's us. When those are the circumstances, right, is when that is of importance. But until we begin to become multilingual, not just bilingual, not just trilingual, multilingual in masses, you see, in masses within our communities and foundations and things like this and that. Once we hit that point, then it's easier. It would be easier, for me to communicate, you see. So if I said the word niggas, right? Niggas, Negus, Niggas, peace to Tupac, Tupac, Tupac Amaru Shakur, right? We have the ability to not just change things, but create things that grow to be great. And in this current time, we don't control the 90% of these things, right? We're not the ones who, we're creating legacies for adversaries. Say it with me. I need you all to stop creating legacies for your natural, by nature, your natural adversaries, right? I don't care what nationality that they are, right? We know what a black devil is. So you know how you don't got no problem with the word black if we're talking about quote unquote dirty Moors or black devils. See, then you don't have a problem with the term. Why? Because we habla inglés. So you comprende everything I said. Because we habla inglés, right? We speak in English. But again, if we were speaking multiple other tongues in a fluent manner throughout a large percentage of, many of us who have this problem, we don't have a problem with using the word F.B.A, right? Some of us, I'm not saying all, but these things are of no importance when we're building and dealing with one another, right? But when you are contractually you have these contractual obligations with these other entities, then it's an issue. So let's talk about the title right quick. I feel as though I'd like to play another commercial, but I will not. I'm gonna kick it with you, right? This is what we gonna do. We gonna deal with the title. What's the title? Is Trump paying homage to F.B.A. and American descendants of slavery? Right? American descendants of slavery. That's a term that you don't hear utilized a lot within this. I don't conscious community. Because again, due to the current climate, we can no longer say those of us who are woke. Because if when you start talking about woke, it mean that you LMNOPQTTAFG. When you start using the word woke, all of a sudden it's related to the, what do they call them, the liberal leftists and all of this and all of that. Like, do you remember when we was running around talking about we woke and they woke? Or I ain't gonna say we and I, but that brother woke or that sister woke, especially if it was someone who was a celebrity, right? And they were speaking about, maybe they were talking about trust, maybe they were talking about being indigenous, aboriginal, autochthonous Americans. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they were speaking about reparations, compensation, restitution, however you beautiful people out there want to label it. We begin to say, well, that individual is woke. Well, again, now when you start seeing woke, according to the Trump people and the other people, the Republican peoples, right? I ain't gonna even say Republican peoples, the Republican Party, the Republican administration at hand. Dodge. What is it? I thought that was Chrysler, and he said Doge Dodge. That's a Chrysler. I'm from the D. That's a Chrysler to me, right? So okay, they're using this term woke to mean those who stand up for elemental PTQ rights, and y'all know what I'm talking about when I say elemental PTQ UIFGWHK. I didn't mean to do that. Y and Z. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say stuff like that. You already know what it is. Like, I don't even know the acronym, how it actually goes, because over the years so much has been added to it and so on and so forth. But again, woke don't mean the people who used to be in attendance at grassroots lectures and know who Dr. Francis Cress Wilson is and know who J.A. Rogers is and uh, know who Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben, and you know what I'm saying? Uh, we even know who William Cooper is. Bill Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse, and all things like this and that, especially us up here where I'm from, being that he was from Michigan and he was murdered in Michigan, right? Uh, it no longer means that. Again, it went somewhere else, right? Just with someone saying, hey, this ain't what it is, this is what it is. And this, someone who is appealing to the people by way of being content creators who are promoting, for a certain elected officials, appointed officials. You know what I'm talking about? Whether it's either the legislative, judicial, or the executive branch, right? They've turned a lot of people into cheerleaders, is what I see happening, and I'm not happy with it. Because again, every 4 years of my life since Reagan, I can recall this tension and these lies being told. Even as a child, I knew that Reagan was lying most of the time, right? As far as what business decisions he was making and the effects that it would have on not all so-called Americans. I'm talking about us, right? I'm talking about us specifically. The little trinkets that end up being available to us was always just enough or not almost enough Understand, it was never enough for us to contemplate building some type of generational wealth or closing the wealth gap. And when it did, because again, we, if you got a body, we can come up with all type of things, right? Or make something out of nothing, or whatever is given. And unfortunately, what was given was tons of cocaine, literally tons of cocaine all over the streets in impoverished places where people live just at the poverty line, just above it, or a little bit below it, right? This was a substance that was popular with, again, people who were able to afford such a habit. Those people were not these people where all of a sudden this stuff is plentiful all up and down the street and in and off the street, right? The price that it came with, it seems to be to me, if when we look at things historically, such as something we're all familiar with, when we start talking about Black Wall Street, and we talked about not just the KKK, neo-Nazi, skinhead, dirtbag type of people invading the town and robbing and knocking people off and taking a shit. It wasn't just those individuals, right, who were jealous of how successful these melanated men, women, and children were, and what a good life they were living, and so on and so forth. No, they had help from the government by way of the government's military to come in and aid them in robbing and knocking off these people. Y'all know what I mean when I say knocking off, since I'm not, I don't have the list of YouTube community standard words that I can and cannot say, right? So again, this pattern seems to keep happening, right? Because again, many of us didn't know, and if you don't know, now you know, that those people of that town were able to rebuild, right? But again, you will always get these people who are anti-reparations within the political realm always mention the fact that, oh yeah, that happened to the blacks in Oklahoma, but they were able to rebuild in less than a year later, right? Okay, so with that being said, now that we know that there are more than just, when we talk about these red summers and things like this, that, 1919, 1920, red summers, red lining, it wasn't one town that this occurred to. There are over 60 documented towns within this red summer that these mobs of neo-Nazi, skinhead, KKK peoples or animals, with the assistance of the federal government by way of them aiding them with their military, they were able to use the army to go in and don't this shit sound familiar? Like when certain ships came from certain nations, didn't they come in as a military? Didn't they have mercenaries and missionaries? Well, just didn't have the missionaries. They had the missionaries and the mercenaries. Do we not see? And I skipped over the story. I talked about the windows getting knocked out of the dollar store and the people saying that the individuals who did it were pale skins, right? So there's an elder in the store, and she mentions a crime that happened at her home, and she calls the police, and she's like, I couldn't wait to tell them that it wasn't one of us, that it was one of them, right? And the thing is, in this particular area of Southwest Detroit, that I'm talking about, it is in the midst of like three other suburban, like no, actually five, four. It depends on which area you're in, and I'm talking 4th Street, Schaefer to 4th Street, Auto Drive. As long as you're on 4th Street, in between that area, you're still in Detroit. But if you go 2 blocks this way, you in Lincoln Park. If you go 4 blocks this way, you in River Rouge. If you go 2 blocks this way, you in Ecorse. If you go 5 blocks that way, you're gonna be in Melvindale. If you go, you see what I'm saying? So with that being said, with this heroin in this fentanyl epidemic that has been an ongoing problem with throughout the city, but especially in this area. You get the pale skinned people coming from these other little towns and cities that I just named into Detroit specifically to either steal so that they can go in another neighborhood and buy their fix, right? Or to come into these neighborhoods to get their fix, right? But at the same time, they're stealing shit. And people act so surprised when the elder said, that it was a so-called white person who did this, who, stole things out of her a garage and home and things like this and that. And this person is someone who has a substance abuse issue, who is not of our community, who is doing this. And again, the only words that I said was that's history repeating itself, right? So let's get back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street, and how, thanks as far as how I learned about the other 60 towns that are documented, was by way of Dr. William Sandy Darity Jr. I'm going to say his name again. William Sandy Darity Jr. Now, prior to me being aware that this elder existed, for certain topics, my go-to was Dr. Claude Anderson, right? And for various reasons, number one with Dr. Claude Anderson is he was in the political arena, right? So some of the various policies or laws, acts, codes that have been put on the books over the years, he saw them before they came out. He, was a part of putting some of this legislation together, right? And now that he's an elder, for him to say they start stuff like affirmative action, right? He could care less about them doing away with affirmative action, and he had a hand in creating it, but he put that hand in for it to exist to assist us, right? Not all minorities, whether you're talking about women or Hispanics and things like this and that. No, specifically for so-called black people, right? So, once it was implemented and enforced to help minorities and not the people who it was put on the table to help, he was done with it, right? So let's get back. I don't want to stray too far away, but I want to make these points before I get really to the meat of the topic again, which is Trump paying homage to, F.B.A. or Foundational Black Americans, or ascendants. How you say that, the ADOS? Because I get kind of stuck with it because you made ADON, American descendants of nobility, right? But this is American descendants of slaves, or American descendants of slavery. That's I ain't gonna even say their name, right? Because right now they're not in the game. And what I mean by that is y'all not very responsive to any of their efforts right now, right? I don't know what their efforts have been, this year, last year, year before. I really haven't, you know what I'm saying? Other than Brother Tone on Tone Talks doing his lives or whatever. I'm not inside of that. Like, it just is what it is. So why did I say that? Like, literally, Amir was watching, or a TikTok video was playing, and there was a young man giving so much praise and honor to a Donald Trump. I got to put my face back up here for this, right? So, because y'all know, like, being that I'm not a supporter of Trump, it doesn't mean that I'm a supporter of his nemesis, right? Or the other party, which is the Democrats. I know we have the independent, and it's another one, right? Who none of them have ever made CEO. We just put it that way, right? It's only been the Democrats and the Republicans within my lifetime, right? I don't know of any a person who was a part of running independently, right, who made it to be the CEO and sit in the Oval Office, right? I'm just saying. So really no need to. I'm just saying people make assumptions based off of what you are currently, broadcasting. Like as if I'm not gonna get into that. It's just that becomes a big problem for me because again, it's just acts. What the comments at? Damn, my bad, y'all. I ain't even looked at the comments. Peace and love. Peace, 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 peace. Like I'm not, you're kind of going too far with it. So let's get into it. The young man was talking about, I remember the one thing he said. He talked about when, no, two things specifically. He talked about the birthright citizenship. And Trump loves us so much that he's, letting it be known that no, that's just for them, right? It's, he's doing that because other people are eating off of that and he doesn't want other people to eat or benefit off of something that was strictly made for us, right? And I like to challenge that. We're gonna challenge that. We're gonna challenge some other things too. That's number one. But we're gonna start off with number two. Number one is gonna be last, and I'm gonna be out of here. I'm not gonna keep y'all all day and all night like I used to. So okay, number two. Number two is Trump told these Native Americans that you don't look like Indians to me. That's because the young man specifically said, Trump watches TikTok and Trump knows that so-called black people or the F.B.A. people are the original Indians or Native Americans or however he labeled it, right? And we're gonna challenge that first. So I'm gonna use some video footage. So I'm gonna take myself down, right? I'm gonna talk to you like we in the fifth grade right now. Again, people, when this internet shit, this social media stuff has really, to be honest, the internet, I will admit, it simplifies you locating a answer, right? But is the answer that you located a fact or the truth? Is it gonna help you get an A on that exam? Is it gonna help you get an A plus on that pop quiz? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of y'all will be flunking out. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying a portion. I'm not gonna even say a lot. I'm gonna say a portion because it's like it's an island of regurgitation is what's going on here. People just regurgitating shit that they heard on TikTok. Like it's nothing scholarly about that. And I've been complaining about this before TikTok existed. You see, it goes back beyond a TikTok and a YouTube or anything like this. But those statements that Donald Trump made about these particular Native Americans not looking Indian to him, you need to know when and where he made that statement, right? If you don't know when and where, you don't know the context of it. So you're taking it out of context is actually what you're doing. And when you look at the particular so-called Indians or Native American tribe or clan that he was talking about, you will have more clarity as to why he said that. And if you, again, knew where he was at when he made these statements, we just going to show it. I'm not going to go through all of that. I think that we're all mature and intelligent enough to, come to the proper conclusion as to why he said that. He was not caping. Again, I told y'all, none of these politicians are in the realm of politics to captain, save, or hold the hood. That's not what they're into politics for. They are in the political arena to get paid. They are doing business. This is why a few months back, November and before November and after, Trump was elected, I kept telling y'all, it don't matter if Kamala or Trump gets in that office. Either or candidate is going to do great business for USA Inc. What that means for us is something completely different. Completely different. But as far as USA Inc., they're going to run it up. They done all, what's on the screen? They done already ran it up to 36 trillion. Let me see something. Just let me see something for 1 minute before we get into this video. Right Nope, that ain't even the one. That's the one, but that ain't the one. That's the world debt clock. This is the US debt clock. You see this right here? 36 trillion 659 billion 547 million and 400,000. 500,000, 600,000. The debt it's growing. That's all it has done. But when you over and understand the fact that the debt is the money, since they made the people the debtors and they pledged the people as collateral for their debts, therefore the debt is the money. And so the population has increased, right? Again, when I was in middle school, there were 250 million US citizens, right? Allegedly, or according to their CDC and so on and whatever else, right? But right now we at 300 and what did you say? 340 million? 341 million, right? Which allows this to grow, right? And when this grows, you see, that allots them the ability to borrow even fucking more because this is a fiat currency system that they're functioning off of. Now, if you want to go and study that and try and make it make sense, it's going to make sense because this is how you are taking care of your business based off of how they have set up their business. Okay? So let's get back to Mr. Trump. Where we at? Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So again, I said he made the statements that they don't look like Indians to me. Trump on Native American casinos in 1993. Again, this was a grievance that he was setting forth based off of business, i.e., gambling, i.e., the business that I'm talking about is casinos, right? He felt that it was unfair that these so-called Indians, whether you want to call them $5 Indians, he called them even worse, right? I'm not saying that he actually said what the man said he said, because the man apologized for saying that Trump made this particular racist statement that he did not. But his grievance within itself was very racist. I don't give a shit what you say, what you think. I don't care what. Put me back. Put me back. Because I know some of us tend to think we are much more intellectually savvy than you actually are by talking to me about commercial presentments and this, that. You is very little that is not. I'm not gonna say it's very little that you can enlighten me on or tell me about it, but I'm still gonna say it's very little, being that I've been around for a long, long time, right? A long, 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 long. I don't say I've been around. I don't have to say shit. I don't have to say anything, right? I'm about to get another printer so I can just scan and you can just see that I mean what I say when I said what I said, right? So to get into the conversation about taxes and who should pay taxes and who shouldn't pay taxes and who's liable for taxes and excise taxes and adhesion contracts and so on and so forth, I over and understand all of that language when many of us don't. Many of us only bring up these points of contention when you trying to move the fucking goalpost. We're not moving the goalpost tonight. We're going to stay on what the man said. Again, where he was at and what he was talking about. He was not talking to us or about us or fucking thinking about us, right? At all. He was thinking about himself and he was doing good business like he does. That's why he's in the Oval Office, because they believe that he would do better business for this corporate entity, nation, country, nation, state, whatever you want to call it, to a level that they didn't believe that she could. I say that's bullshit, because either way it go, no matter which one of them is in there, guess what? You see this right here? It was still going to continue to do what it do. It was still going to do this. It don't matter which one of them. It was still going to do this. Want me to say the numbers again for you? I'm good with numbers. We ain't gonna do that. We gonna listen to what the man said himself. Again, what his gripe or his grievance was, and why he made the statement that these people don't look Indian to me. And I'm gonna let some of it out the bag because I doubt if I'm gonna play the entire video, right? But he was pointing at Italians actually. Which, if you said something about an Italian and we start talking about $5 Indians, many of y'all are gonna remember the guy whose name I can't think of, who was the Indian in the commercial that shed a tear. Was it Telly Savasi? Kojak? Whatever. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Especially y'all know we got some older people probably listening in or whatnot. But this is what he was talking about. He wasn't saying what you thought he was trying to say to you. And any of you who are out here talking about you Aboriginal, Indigenous, or Tautanist Americans, right? Moors, I'ma say it, and you abos who say we ain't Moors, that ain't the same thing and all that. That ain't the conversation I want to get into you. If you are really historically endowed in what the fuck happened over here, when I mention the Pequot, as soon as I say Pequot, you know those were the darkest of the dark, the nappiest heads of the nappiest heads, right? Many of you are familiar with if I say a Lenape or something like that. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about the Pequot. And these were the people who Trump was pissed at because their casinos, for their casinos, they're not paying taxes, but he has to pay taxes. And he wasn't trying to have it. So let me put the video up so we can get in and out of here right quick. So I have to take this down? I guess so. I'm glad I did. Y'all see this? Fair usage statement. Fair use statement. I said fair usage. It's a fair usage. This is for educational and entertainment purposes. Right? This is why we doing this. So which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So can I blow it up is the question. Hold up. Let me see if I can blow it up first, y'all. I got it, but I want to see if I can. Is it even still functioning? It's stuck like check. Hold on. I got to refresh. No, I don't. A commercial came on. So to keep the wheels rolling, again, this is in 1993 when he made this statement. And people regurgitate bullshit so much. I can recall people in bringing this up in 2020 and 2019 and, just acting like this dude is somewhere paying homage to us. And that again, that's not his job. Hold on. How long is this? Okay, it's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes. Boom. Okay, let me put it on deck for y'all right quick. So it's not gonna let me. Okay, here we go. This is full size. This is Washington Post, right? I could have got this from NBC. I made sure not to go to NBC because I know y'all was gonna flake up. Here we go.
It will blow sky high. It will be the biggest scandal ever, or one of the biggest scandals since Al Capone in terms of organized crime. I believe that there's going to be a lot of embarrassed and a lot of red faces. But to sit here and listen, as people are saying that there's no organized crime, that there's no money laundering, that there's no anything, and that an Indian chief is going to tell Joey Killer to please get off his reservation is almost unbelievable to me.
You have been
Okay, so again, when he say those people don't look Indian to me, he's talking about the mob. He's talking about the Italians, is what he's talking about, right? He's saying that the mob is running the Indian casinos. So when he said them people don't look Indian to me, the young man on TikTok, I don't know his name. I guess I'll do a reaction video, something like that. If Amir want to do that or not, I don't know how he feels about that. Don't matter. I'm just putting the facts out, right? I'm putting the facts out here to you. He was not saying them people don't look Indian to him to invisibly point at those of us who, again, we already know who we are. Whether you're talking about Washita, Yamasee, Chickasaw, Blackfoot, Apache, We know what it is. Grandma already told us, through the information that she had. And for what our elders didn't tell us, many of us, like myself, were fortunate enough to have paintings of our ancestors going back generations, right? There wasn't no cameras, but they were able to paint these pictures of my paternal great great grandmother, my maternal, great great grandmother, and my paternal great great grandmother and great great grandfather. They got their own cemetery. They have a whole museum and everything in Elkton, Tennessee, and their namesake, and so on and so forth. It's called the Matt Gardner Museum, if you are interested in, you know what I'm saying? Because again, it's not just about the Gardner family. There were many other prominent, rich, and I'm gonna say the word rich, all that land and churches and schools that one particular family, that's part of my lineage, right? But there were other families, and they have a bigger museum down there that shows you all of this land that we had, right? And we didn't just have the land, right? I'm talking schools and things of that nature. No, it wasn't government funded like some of these places, like Oklahoma was in certain instances, right? These are the things that, people don't want to talk about because they don't want to give you the full picture. They want to give you choice A, B, C, and D and tell you, these are the right choices, or they're the only things available. They're what's offered. And you make a selection from that when you don't do your own due diligence, right, on your own. So I'm gonna go back a little bit, and then we'll get to this birthright status, which is something recent that he did say.
That it will blow. It will blow sky high. It will be the biggest scandal ever, or one of the biggest scandals since Al Capone in terms of organized crime. I believe that there's going to be a lot of embarrassed and a lot of red faces. But to sit here and listen, as people are saying that there's no organized crime, that there's no money laundering, that there's no anything, and that an Indian chief is going to tell Joey Killer to please get off his reservation, is almost unbelievable to me.
You have basically stated that the problem seems to be that the FBI doesn't have any people, or is that correct? Is the issue that you...
No, I think it's far beyond that. I think that people have got paper bags over their faces and nobody's looking. Everybody, it seems to me, from even just a common sense standpoint, knows what's going on.
Did you submit this list?
And I think I'll prove my point. I'm not about to sit here and listen to this guy like that. Like, y'all really need to start researching shit and start regurgitating. That's just what I'm gonna say about that. Okay? So knock that on off your list. He wasn't talking about us in no type of way, fashion, or form when he made the fucking statement. Next. How y'all say that? Next. So this birthright, where the birthright shit at? Where is that? I got to find it. Y'all gotta excuse me. I ain't did this live stuff in a long time. I've been getting into this editing, which is gonna continue to be lit. Some of it is gonna be from prior lives that I've done. You see, some of it is not, but it's all gonna coincide with our current condition as a people, right? Not a left wing and a right wing and all this other bullshit y'all caping for. Please stop. It's embarrassing. It is utterly embarrassing that you was cheerleading for this cat based off of sound bites when you was too lazy to go look at the entire convention or the entire litigation or whatever the hell it was, right? You wanted to follow. We following. And I'm not saying that you have to be leading anything, but goddamn, if something coming out your mouth, shouldn't it be the truth? goodness. Where is that? This is, oh, I hope it ain't a bunch of static or nothing in the video because this is playing the video. I wasn't trying to do that. So again, can I even pronounce this? The Mashantucket Pequot, right? Again, he was talking about the Mashantucket Pequot in Connecticut in 1993. Now, those are all the facts that you need to go and look at it your own self. Okay? So where is that? Where is that? How did that happen? Like the whole thing disappeared on me, y'all. This gonna be the last one. Where it at? Where it at? It should be relatively easy to locate, and I shall do such. And where is it? History, yes, history. Boom, 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 boom. So, the birthright citizenship. He said that wasn't for everybody. Y'all say he said that was for black people and some exclusive and inclusive into what the blood clot into what? So let's just we gonna do it like this. We gonna share when he has said what he has said. That's the best way to do it and get it over with. Why is this one so long? Is this the one I'm supposed to be looking at? Let me blow it all the way up. Right now, people make quotes, and if I'm gonna say something exactly the way it was said, we use the word verbatim, right? I have yet to see one person caping for this cat quote verbatim what he said. What y'all are saying he said is not what he said. So then we will have to focus on, well, if that's not what he said, what did he mean? Well, let's listen to what he said first.
Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to come in and pile into the United States of America, everybody coming in and totally unqualified people.
Okay, so when we start talking about Dred Scott and the Sundry Moors Act of 1790 and the Christian Black Codes of 1724, why I all of a sudden start messing that up? The years or whatever, right? Just like when he said, this particular policy was set forth, it was set forth for the children of slaves. So when we start talking about things like foreign and things like domestic, right? When we start talking about the difference in between being a U.S. citizen and an American national, or a citizen of a sovereign nation such as Cherokee or Yamasee, or I'm talking about Lenape, and so on and so forth. We know that it's a difference in between being a federally government recognized tribe and a federally acknowledged yes tribe. These are two different statuses. I have no idea who is calling me. Good day. Peace, peace. How are you? I miss you too, and I love you. I'm about to lock you in. I'm doing a live. You all right? You good? I'm about to lock you in though, because I've been asking about you. For sure, for sure. Give me a minute. I'm about to be done with this in a minute. I'm gonna hit you back.
If you could please call me, Toy. Please call me.
I am.
I need please.
I am. Stay up. I'm gonna hit you back.
Okay.
All right. Peace. Love you too. Peace. Yes, yes. That sister, that's a school teacher, just like me. Her son was reading, writing, and spelling like over 200 words by the age of 3. You know, breastfed. Is it okay for me to say breastfed? Very, yeah. So let's get back to it. To what he said, right? We know there's a difference in between the statuses that I just spoke about. I talked about U.S. citizen, American national. You are you belong to a particular tribe or clan, a sovereign tribe or clan that may be acknowledged or may be recognized. And those with are two different statuses, right? So we know about the dolls rolls, right? We know about the Trail of Tears. Uh, we know about the $5 Indians, right? And so on and so forth. We have to incorporate all of these facts before we start saying all of this wild shit, right? Now, something that I looked into or refreshed myself on a couple years ago is the fact that this cat right here on the screen, his line of genealogy did not come over here onto this land until like the 1920s or something like that. I want to say I could very well Google it right now, but my point is this: like this "Make America Great Again." What era would he have to be talking about if his people didn't get here until like the 1920s? No, he can't be talking about that because he's not a part of that. In my opinion, I just want to say, I have a comment in the background. You know what I'm saying? That I'm responding to. Okay, like let me go back again so we can be clear, abundantly clear on what he meant and what he said, exactly what he said, not what you think he said or what you think he meant when he said that. And the relevance in this particular birthright status to us as a people right now, here today in 2025 Gregorian calendar year.
Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves.
And as a president, why he don't know what year it came about and all of that? He a businessman. You know what I'm saying? He's doing business. He a tycoon type. You know what I mean? Not thinking about you at all. At all. I'm not saying that he hasn't done anything that I agree with. That's not what I'm saying. He might get up and brush his teeth every day. I agree with that shit. You know, when he stopped the boys who think that they girls or feel like that they are females from playing in sports with other females, I agree with that. Right? But I'm not about to rally for this cat in no way, shape, or form because he is a part of a regime or a bloodline, if you will, that is responsible for a Red Summers, right? This office that he sat in, they supply their military troops to help see out these Red Summers. So this amnesia and this cognitive dissonance and all of these other things that are happening right before my eyes, they sicken me. Like Facebook and YouTube need they got a like and a love and all of these various responses. They need one with the throw up face, because that's how I be feeling. Like I just literally want to fucking throw up, vomit when I see some of this stuff. I'm all over here rooting for vagabonds who did not have the science of purifying water or preserving food. Disease, germ man filled peoples, right? Now wearing suits and ties and have multiple estates. How that happen? How we end up from being on estates to being on plantations? The same formula from the same system, the same regime, the same bloodline of fucking people that you all here caping for. From either side. Oh, here y'all can listen to him.
Slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to coming and piling into the United States of America, everybody coming in and totally unqualified people.
He's signing these executive orders against birthright citizenship, which was struck down by a federal court in Seattle the next day. Okay. So you're talking about going from the executive branch to the judicial branch and right? This entire system. If he's see how he was signing, if he not signing no check to balance the books, I don't give a shit about none of that. That's what I'm looking for. Find me a candidate who is going to balance the books and cut the checks to those who they owe, which is us. Anything else that come out of his mouth and any of the others' mouths, I don't want to hear it. I'm ready for them to go home. He can go back to where him and the people. That's what I'm saying. Like when we get into this white supremacy stuff, right? If I look at it like this, if I feel like I'm white and I'm so supreme and my ancestors was French, why the fuck wouldn't I want to be over there where I come from and where the, you know what I'm saying? My supreme genes, like, I don't get it. But I do get it. When you have been allotted the opportunity to do the type of business that they have been doing for decades over here, you're not about to let a good thing go. So what he is doing is continuing to do what they have been doing, which is make the wealthy wealthier. And anything outside of that you all think that he is doing is a fucking fantasy. Period, point blank. Today, yesterday, tomorrow, next year, until the next one comes in and does the exact same thing. Please, y'all, please. I'm not begging you. I'm talking about, but I'm asking you, please stop embarrassing the shit out of me and yourself and your ancestors by cheerleading for any of these people. You are not of the class in which he is rallying for. He is not he is not balancing the books for the so-called Black Americans in no type of way, shape, or form. He don't have to level the playing field for his own fucking people. And with that being said, where does that leave you? It was a foolish mistake, not in my opinion. Factually, it was a foolish mistake for those of you who jumped ship from one sinking ship as far as for yourself, because they ain't sinking. They somewhere in a fucking high rise. You jumped out of one sinking ship into another sinking ship. This guy is literally removing the names of melanated men and women from various I don't want to use the word cemetery, but what do you call that when they make it like a national site? You know what I'm talking about? Why would he do that? I'm asking y'all, are those who support again his regime and think that they something that they are actually doing, you know, that you're going to be the fucking thank you, mind you, a beneficiary of? But when you get put in a situation as to where you try to you let the magistrate know that he's the fiduciary in this particular matter during litigation, and you just need them to balance the books and cut the damn check. When it comes to us, it's a problem. And that does have to do with status. right? Now I'm not out here pushing no status correction packages, but for those of you who are anti, there's no such thing as status correction. That's bullshit. There is a such thing as status correction, but it's not sold in a package. It is the undoing of the things that you have contractually bonded yourself to with this said corporation, state, country, and its subsidiaries, being its states and its cities and counties and townships and parishes. Name some more. I just can't stand it. It just gets on my, I cannot stand it. It irritates the hell out of me to see this amount of misinformation being regurgitated by melanated people when we are living in an age of information. Y'all say it's the age of Aquarius, right? Many of you have been saying that for 20 years. Some people say no, it's a 2600 year, year, da, 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 da. Hey. It's at your fingertips. Most of the time, it's at your answers are literally at, get him off my screen. He got it, get him off. Right? And I need something in my life. I need something in my life before we get out of here. Literally, I was sitting over here laughing my ass off. And nothing was said. I just saw a photograph. And I'm going to share it with y'all. Where he at? There you go, right there. This picture came up. Oh my God. It just took me out. It just, y'all know, what year this probably was when he took this picture, But I just like to fall out. I just was like, bro, no. And it's hilarious. So that's it. That's it. I just tackled, uh 2 issues, and we have a multitude of them. So look out for more videos. I won't be doing lives as often, no time soon, but I will be dropping the various series of episodes from various series every day. So pay attention, stay tuned. Hit the like button for me, y'all. Hit the like button, share, leave me some more comments. I don't know who's on here from Facebook or YouTube, but YouTube is gonna be the absolute place, because as much as I love my people on Facebook, it's just y'all it's too many people, regurgitating a bunch of racist satire shit that they got off the internet and don't know. They know they got it from the internet. They looked at it, they read it, it looked like a reputable source. How y'all say that? But when it looks like, it looks like, you need to know what the primary source of the information is, who put it out there, right? And when you discover that, a lot of times you discover that, you done got a whole some fentanyl instead of some opium, right? Let me see. I got one more example and I'm done. So speaking of, I was on Facebook and I saw a post about Elon Musk offering $10 million to Dawn Staley. Is that how you say her name? Is it Staley or Staley? Dawn Staley. She's a coach, University of South Carolina, Gamecocks. Right. And I mean, this is what it said. Dawn Staley shocks the world by rejecting Elon Musk's $10 million offer. She says, keep it and spend it on something that actually blah, blah, blah. Okay. So again, this is on Facebook. This is on Instagram. But when you go and try to do a Google search, you cannot find any reputable source, right, with this. So they're saying that this is fake. It didn't happen. In anywhere that you can see that it was mentioned. It was mentioned on X, right? All of these places, but not on a New York Times, not on a CNN, or you know what I'm saying? Nothing where you can backtrack it. And again, a lack of evidence. The story claims that Musk made this offer on social media, but there is no record that he did. So again, this is what I'm saying. You have no records of Trump calling these Native American people, saying that they don't look like Indians because Indians are really the black people. And he's watching TikTok, so he knows now that, or he always knew that the blacks were the indigenous people of the Americas. And he don't look. I'm not saying what this nigga know and what he don't know, right? I don't have the ruler to look into his brain to know what he knows and he don't know. But what I do know is he was not talking about y'all when he made that statement, and I just proved it. So with that, I'm gonna say peace, and y'all have a good one.